Hi, welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to the great Arsenal. And lots of rumours around as usual today. A lot of them centering on players that we have already been sort of linked with already so far this January transfer window. One of a lot of interest is the one about Mohamed El Nene. This one, as I've been saying for days now, is a dead cert, is going to happen. El Nene, this deal now only days away from being done. One of his teammates confirmed it yesterday by posting on Facebook that he wishes him the best of luck with his and best of success at Arsenal. His club have confirmed it, more or less, that he's moving to Arsenal. We've known about it now for about a week. It's a done deal. He's definitely come in. The work permit stuff apparently has all been sorted out, and hopefully, he could be in place before the weekend. Whether he'll play or not is another matter. Of course, over there in Basel, they've been on their winter break, so he's going to be a bit rusty. Wouldn't have been able to probably have trained in time with his teammates. It would have been great to have got him in time to play in that Sunderland game. At the weekend FA Cup game. That would have been perfect to get him on to play, like, say, for instance, like a last 15 minutes in that game. But anyway, listen, that deal is a more or less a done deal, and he's going to be, I think that's going to be a big signing, because we all know that we definitely need a holding midfielder. Francis Coquelin, out injured at the moment, is a massive miss for Arsenal. Flamini's come in, he's done a decent enough job, but I think Flamini's a guy who can come in and do a job here and a job there, but you can't rely on Flamini to be in there for long periods of time to cover Coquelin, and it's a very important position. Even on Saturday against Newcastle, there was a bit of weakness in that area. They were overrunning us a bit in that midfield area at times, and we definitely need an addition there to solidify that area. And Mohamed El Nene is going to be that man. He's going to be an Arsenal player in the next couple of days. But could Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang be an Arsenal player? Now, we spoke about this one a couple of days ago. The Arsenal apparently willing to pay the £42 million that Borussia Dortmund said would take to get Aubameyang to move to Arsenal. Arsenal apparently said, all right, well, we got that. You know what I mean? What you're saying, we've got 42 mil if you want to make that happen. And it's now, the rumours are now really hotting up, especially due to the fact that yesterday he missed training. They're just back, or they're just sort of coming back from their international break. They have this long extended international break over there in Germany. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang missed training yesterday, and it sparked loads and loads of rumours, as you can imagine. And the chief executive at Borussia Dortmund was forced to come out yesterday and speak about this. And it's quite interesting what he said. He told Bild, which is one of the top publications over there in Germany, he said, one must never miss, these are his quotes, he said, one must never make the mistake to believe that a club like Borussia Dortmund is dependent on a player. We are not dependent on anyone. When Robert Lewandowski left, we found a solution. And he has 3 more goals than Lewandowski. He's talking about Aubameyang there. And he said, the goal is that our team stays stronger. We do not have as much money as the top stars in the Premier League, but we have a lot of other things to offer. For example, our players were able to celebrate Christmas. Well, celebrate Christmas and be on 30 grand a week, or not celebrate Christmas and get like 100 grand a week. I think some of those players wouldn't mind not celebrating Christmas if they're receiving that sort of wage. He also said last year around this time, many journalists wrote that our top players would be gone. He says Hummels was at Manchester United. Gundogan was at Real Madrid, Manchester or Barcelona. And where are they now? He said they're still all with us. So kind of sort of mixed messages there from, the chief executive of the club. If you kind of read into that, there is kind of a bit of sort of mixed messages. on the one hand, he's sort of saying that, you know what, we can't compete with the money that the Premier League clubs have got. We can't. And it's interesting that he said Premier League clubs, you know, because he's being asked about moves, that he's worried about the Premier League clubs. But then also, interestingly, he says, listen, some of our top players, which he's right, you know, Royce as well, Hummels, Gundogan, all those guys are still at Borussia Dortmund, despite them not even being in the Champions League. So he does have a point there, but the rumours are heating up. Why did he miss training? Borussia Dortmund issued a statement and said it was because of personal reasons. One of his teammates, Matthias Ginter, when asked about Aubameyang, he said, listen, we don't want him to leave and we're hoping that he stays. And that's quite interesting, some of those. Listen, it may all come to nothing, but it's caused the rumours, the rumour mill to heat up into overdrive. Could Arsenal be bold enough to go out there and make this deal happen for the top goal scorer in Germany at the moment, which is Aubameyang? He would be perfect for Arsenal. Is he world class though? Is he worth £42 million? Listen, in the current market, I reckon he probably is worth that sort of money. But it's really interesting, some of those quotes that come out. If you're going to press me about it, as I said before, I don't think it's a deal that will get done in January. I just think that, you know, Dortmund will hold on to him for dear life. He's doing so well. They want to do as well as they can. They're not going to win the Bundesliga, but they want to get into the Champions League. They didn't make it last year. And Aubameyang's the sort of player that can see them across the line. So I really doubt it will happen in January. But stranger things happen. Let's see. Stranger things have happened, like, for instance, the rumour about Troy Deeney. Now, this rumour still going around today about Troy Deeney. TalkSport have jumped on the bandwagon. TalkSport, a radio station over in the UK, they've jumped on the bandwagon saying that they also understand that Arsenal made an inquiry about how much Troy Deeney would cost. Now, of course, the Daily Star came out with it yesterday. I was getting slated by a couple of people yesterday in the comments section saying, Robbie, why are you even reporting this? Listen, this is the point of Transfer Daily. We look at players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. And then what we do is we look at things like the likelihood of it happening, how good the rumour is. As I said yesterday, I don't think the Troy Deeney to Arsenal rumour is a credible one. I don't think it's something that's going to happen. Or am I wrong? As I said today, TalkSport, again now, jumping in and saying that Arsenal have made an inquiry. It could very well be that Arsenal said, you know, how much would Troy Deeney cost? It doesn't mean that they're looking to buy him. And I think this one is highly unlikely to happen. I don't think you'll be seeing Troy Deeney at Arsenal. And also, as I said yesterday, why would Watford sell their captain, remember? They want to stay in this league. The prizes of staying in this league are more than, you know, selling him to Arsenal for £20 million and then having to try and replace him and, you know, destroying that whole ethos there at Watford, for which Troy Deeney is the heartbeat of. So I'd say forget about those rumours. Sounds great for TalkSport and for the Star to sell some publications, but for me, nah, that's not happening. As is, it looks like Michy Batshuayi, who's been linked with Arsenal and a whole host of clubs. Spurs apparently really interested in him as well. We'll be being told today that Marseille are set to hand him a new 5-year deal to sign. And basically, what Marseille are doing here is they're saying to him, listen, stay here till the summer, sign this deal. There'll obviously be some sort of release clause in there, which means that the club gets a bit more money. They'll up his wages, which will mean he'll be able to sign and get a bit more money. And then if somebody comes along in the summer with big money, everybody's quids in. Batshuayi's earned more money from now till the end of the season. Plus, he's still able to collect a nice little wedge from the new club he moves to. And Marseille make more money because they've got a release clause in there. That's how it seems to be going these days. So it looks like the Batshuayi will stay till at least the end of the season. He's really been on fire in the French league. He's been banging the goals in left, right and centre. And attracting the interest of a lot of the clubs over here in the Premier League, but doesn't look like Batshuayi is going to be moving this January. Arsene Wenger really likes that player, really likes him. In the summer, that is a definite possibility that that deal could happen. Interesting one as well today. Whatever happened to Alexander Lacazette? Somebody brought it up yesterday, Lacazette. Now, it's very interesting today that there's a big rumour going around that Newcastle have put a bid of 23 million euros, which is way under what was being asked for him during the summer. Of course, last year he scored 27 goals in 33 Liga 1 games. This year he's been struggling a bit. He still scored 6 goals in 15 games. So that's not that bad. But he's not been setting it alight. Newcastle have put a bid in for him. Highly unlikely that he's going to move to Newcastle. He's going to want to hold out for a bigger club. And again, there's also the thing that you have to take into account at the moment with players like Lacazette, that they want to get into that French national team at the end of the season. And he faces a lot of competition. You know, he's got Giroud in front of him, Benzema in front of him, Martial now in front of him. And he wants to get into that squad. All the French players want to be, it's on French soil. They all want to be in that French team to play in the Euros. So wouldn't really make sense, I suppose, for Lacazette to move to Newcastle into a team that's struggling. Even though Lyon have been struggling a bit, he's probably going to stick it out till the end of the season. But 23 million euros. Should Arsenal go back in there and maybe try and tempt him to Arsenal? Or was he just a one-season wonder? You know, I don't know. I mean, 6 goals in 15 ain't that bad, but it's just not living up to the same sort of standards as what he set last year, when everybody was out there saying, listen, let's get Lacazette, all summer. Lacazette hasn't really been mentioned at all so far. So again, you know, is he the player that we was all saying he is, or was he just a one-season wonder? We're not going to know. Interesting as well, Pep Guardiola announcing yesterday that he's going to manage in England next season. I want to manage in England next season. And there's been intense speculation. Listen, he's been linked. Most likely destination seems to be Manchester City. Also been heavily linked to Manchester United and Arsenal. A lot of people linking him to Arsenal. I remember talking to somebody behind the scenes at Arsenal. And he said to me that when Arsene Wenger went, the #1 person they would love to bring in would be Pep Guardiola. And you can imagine, like, I would have thought Guardiola would be interested in a club like Arsenal because it would be a big challenge for him. It's a big club, big stadium. It's in London, big history, made for Guardiola. But listen, Arsene Wenger's still in place. What would Arsene Wenger do? If he won the title, for instance, would Arsene Wenger say, right, that's it for me. I've achieved the title. Knocking on a bit, time for me to move on. Guardiola, you come in and succeed? Or would Arsene Wenger say, no way, I'm going to keep going, man. Yeah, I mean, I've just won this. I can win more. It's really interesting. I mean, listen, he's probably going to end up at City or possibly Manchester United. And we all know he's a world-class manager. He's probably the best manager there is around. But it is interesting that a lot of these rumours are flying around today, linking him heavily, and it's a manager, not a player, linking him heavily with moving to Arsenal. Would be really, really interesting. I'd listen, after Arsene Wenger, Pep Guardiola for me, that would be on my wish list. He would be the dream manager to come in. But as I said, City, Man United, they're all going to be in there with loads and loads of money as well. So I don't know, probably unlikely, but it'd be nice. Good news, Mikel Arteta back in training. He played yesterday for the under-21s, and suppose there's a good shout that he could be back in the squad for the game against Sunderland on Sunday. We need numbers back. I know there's been a lot of people. Mikel Arteta recently has become one of those players that has been easy to pick out and to slaughter for bad performances, etc., etc. But listen, he's an experienced member of the squad and very good. He's a captain of the club and he's a very good leader of the team. And listen, we need numbers. It'd be good to get him back to fitness and get him back in that squad, even as cover. Yes, we do need better, and that's why El Nene's coming in. And yes, Arteta's had loads of injuries this season, horrendous. And we should probably have moved him on last summer, but we could do with the numbers back in the squad. So it's good to see Mikel Arteta back in training. Thomas Rosicky also back in training yesterday. So that is really, really encouraging. And also Alexis Sanchez is back in training. And we're being told that Francis Coquelin is starting to run again. So that's really, really good. And he's, you know, it's being said that he's possibly ahead of schedule, although not close to coming back yet, but is looking like he could end up being ahead of schedule. And it's really, really good news for that title push. If we can get a full squad of players, we're really going to be effective. Do you remember last season, when it came towards the end of last season, like the last couple of months, we had everybody back. Jack, Ramsey, everybody was back. We didn't even know. There'd be a massive debate before every game. Which midfield should we pick? Should we pick Jack? Should we go for Santi Cazorla? Should we... Ozil, should we? That's what I want to see back again. That is, if we can get that full squad back, we can really have a push on the title this season. Let's get into a couple of the comments from you guys. Red and White Victoria said, hush, hush, Gooners. He said, Wenger is laughing his arse off at this rumours that are going around. I think he's on about the Troy Deeney one and the Aubameyang ones and that. He said, Sanchez and Welbeck are coming back soon. We won't buy a striker this transfer window. No one good is available at this time. El Nene is a good addition, but if we also get Rabiot, then that will be really solidify our midfield. Rabiot is a top talent, tall, strong, tough tackler, can dribble, pass, and has a vision and can score a goal. And he's still only 20 and has loads of potential. Moody Boy says, I wouldn't mind Lukaku, even though we won't get him. He's banging in the goals. And he can score heaps more with a player like Ozil assisting him, Sanchez, Walcott, etc. Mohamed Osman says, from Benzema links in the summer to Troy Deeney in January. What a difference a few months makes. I like that one. That is so true. Grand Dude says, we need a top quality striker, someone like Aubameyang or Cavani. That's another forgotten name, Cavani, isn't it? Cavani in the summer, if not now. He said, as much as I like Giroud, we need to remind ourselves that he was brought in to give RVP competition, not to replace him. But unfortunately, we had no choice when RVP left, and we missed that 25 plus a goal striker since the season that Robin van Persie left. Luca Constantino says, I think we should sign Griezmann and play him up front with Giroud. Imagine what a strike force that would be. Well, listen, Griezmann, as I said yesterday, or I think the day before, out of the question. No way Atletico Madrid are going to sell Antoine Griezmann in January. Forget that one. Mr. Trex Prehistoric said, I would rather have Danny Welbeck than Troy Deeney. Pramdo Jacob says, Alexander Pato, yet again, he's mentioned in every transfer window. He's like the transfer window king, Alexander Pato. He said, Alexander Pato might be a transfer target for us. Reports in Brazil are saying that he rejected a multi-million-dollar offer from a Chinese club. He's also reportedly told Corinthians, his club, that he wants to go to Europe and preferably England. Also, he followed the Arsenal Twitter account. Always, I love those ones when they follow the Twitter accounts or Facebook. Always then becomes a player, right? Hardly ever. Cole Scatter says, Alex Teixeira. He said, let's save his career, not let him go next area. William says, my dream transfer would be Zlatan Ibrahimovic, my favourite player, even for a season or two, but sadly it won't happen. So you've answered your own question, that won't happen. And finally, to end up with Ollie Hibbart, he says, I reckon we should go for Antoine Griezmann because he would be cheaper than Royce and Aubameyang, and he would be great up front with Giroud. I don't think he would be cheaper than a Royce and Aubameyang. I actually think he'd be more expensive than both of those players. I think the only way Atletico would even consider selling Griezmann, it would have to be something absolutely ridiculous. It would have to be like 80 million, 70, 80 million pounds. And they'd probably say, okay, we'll think of, you know, we might. They've got a chance of winning the La Liga. They're top of the league at the moment. So Antoine Griezmann sounds great. I think we should have moved for Griezmann a couple of years ago before he moved to Atletico. I was really surprised when Arsene Wenger didn't move in for him because, you know, he seemed ready-made for Arsenal. But I think there's no chance of Griezmann coming to Arsenal in January. There are your transfer rumours today. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Don't forget, we'll be back around about the same time tomorrow. Thanks for everybody who's been leaving those comments. Keep those comments coming. Don't forget to check out the sale in our shop, AFTVstore.com. There's a sale on all of our AFTV goods, so make sure you check that out. And don't forget to keep subscribing here to Arsenal Fan TV. We're closing in on 200,000 subs. We're going to do something really special when we get to that number. But thanks to everybody who subscribes, everybody who watches. I know there's a lot of people who fans of other clubs even watch. You can subscribe as well. Don't worry. Don't be shy to subscribe. You know what I mean? Thanks for watching, and we'll be back right about the same time tomorrow.